Welcome to Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. Bicycle Retail Radio brings together retailers, vendors, advocates, and thought leaders for honest discussions about the latest issues facing bicycle retailers. The podcast dives deep into the challenges and triumphs of the bicycle industry, providing an in-depth look at the person behind the profession. Aiming to deliver content that's both relatable and thought-provoking, offering real-world tips and insights to help you find success in the bicycle industry. There's a human side of the business, and the podcast aims to share stories, experiences, and strategies that you can apply in your own shop. Whether you're looking for inspiration, practical advice, or a sense of community, you've come to the right place. The National Bicycle Dealer Association has a rich history of supporting retailers across the nation. Founded in 1946 with a mission to strengthen specialty bicycle retailers through education, through research, through communication, and through advocacy. The National Bicycle Dealer Association is proudly supported by our members and our membership. If you'd like to learn more about the benefits of joining, please visit nbda.com.
Specialty bicycle retailers are the heart of the cycling industry, and the National Bicycle Dealers Association exists to strengthen these businesses through education, research, communication, and advocacy. When we create thriving bicycle retailers, the industry and the cycling community follows. Memberships are available for individuals, retailers, and association partners committed to supporting the mission. Join today at nbda.com.
Tired of turning away e-bike customers? Frustrated with the complexity of diagnosing e-bikes? Are you still swapping parts and guessing for hours? E-bike technician certification training will give you the skills to confidently diagnose any e-bike with a brushless hub motor in less than 15 minutes. Get the knowledge you need to service e-bikes, gain new customers, increase revenue, and become a professional e-bike technician. Visit the Canadian Electric Bicycle Association at cebassociation.com for more information.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Bicycle Retail Radio. Thanks for coming back. My guest today is Kenny Belaey. He is founder of Bentonville Bike Fest, and we are talking about this year's event. We chat about the new e-mobility day that's taking place, how Bentonville Bike Fest and the NBDA Retailer Summit work in partnership. We're going to overview all the activities, why Bentonville Bike Fest is a place that you need to bring the family, bring the team, and get involved in this year. Last year, the festival faced some challenges, but the festival is coming back this year. It's going to be bigger than ever, and Bentonville is a top cycling destination. Lots in this one. Really enjoy Kenny. This is like my third time with him on the podcast, so hope you enjoy. Kenny, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for coming back on Bicycle Retail Radio.
Hello, Heather. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I always feel like every time we get together, it's been a year, but it feels like yesterday, Kenny, because we're just like the momentum, the excitement, the passion, it's there, you know?
Yeah. But we also start planning like 7 months ahead of our event. So that's why we're so much in touch. I think it doesn't feel like a year almost. But the time flies for sure. It's pretty wild.
Time does fly. Listeners, Kenny Belaey, he is a multiple-time trials bike world champion and founder of Bentonville Bike Fest. Back on the show, I think this is our third time, but rightly so. We've been working together as partners for years, and we have lots to share about the 2025 Bentonville Bike Fest. So thank you for making the time.
No, for sure. And I think, I've said it before, but having our collaboration is key to the success of Bike Fest. I think it's just a great and an easy partnership. You guys know what you're doing. We know what we want to do, where we're going, where we're heading to, and I think together we are going in the same direction. So it's been a great partnership.
Hey, I know it's, I think, 5-year anniversary edition and 3 years for the Retailer Summit. And this year we've got the inaugural e-mobility day on May 22nd. There's the Women's Shred event. We've got gravel. There's a lot going on. 5 years, Kenny. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. When I started this festival, I was still competing at the high level. I was still training for World Cups and World Championships. So the first 2 years when I planned this were really tough time-wise, but I wouldn't have imagined. I mean, I never do something short term. I always want it to be long term, but I wouldn't have imagined to be it of this size where we are now because we started with a small event, Women's Shred in Bentonville, maybe 10 sponsor booths, like maybe 15 times smaller to what it is now. So it is pretty wild to where, what Bike Fest has become and the area and the town and, you name it. There's feels a little bit like what they're doing in the Middle East in Dubai and all those countries where they're just building and building and innovating. And I think Bentonville is definitely very progressive on that front too.
Kenny, I remember from our past conversations that I believe you first visited Bentonville in like 2013 or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were there for like a US tour, I believe. What was it
Yeah.
about that area? I mean, Bentonville, even in the past 3 years, I myself have personally witnessed tremendous growth. What was it that was like, resonated with you that made you feel like this is a spot that we're going to do something awesome?
Um, so I like the area in general. Even before the mountain bike trails, the people were very warm, friendly, accommodating. And when they explained their plans to me of we want to grow this area into a global mountain bike destination, I immediately felt the passion and the vision. And I'm an entrepreneur. I like to create. I don't like to just step in or be part of something that's already going. And they always gave me the feeling that my input was valuable and there was a lot of mutual respect. And I think that one of the reasons that I went so hard to make Bentonville Bike Fest what it is today.
Kenny, you have built an event that has touched so many people. As a person who's been to the event 3 times now, I have seen people, families celebrating cycling, different diverse groups of riders out enjoying the bicycle, walking around the trade show that you've created, feeling the energy, feeling the excitement, being able to test ride products that they would never have test rode before, interacting with retailers that come and actually display at your show. I mean, that has to feel awesome. But when you thought of this
Yeah.
idea, you were a world-class racer. I can't even imagine how you thought to event planning and put this together. Like, how are those early stages? Like, you know what I mean? That's a big transition from rider to event promoter.
Yeah. Well, yes and no, because as a trials rider, you have to be very creative to make a living out of your niche. And so, I've been producing my own trial shows, always being innovative and with my pedal to the metal concept, adding BMX and BMX trials, DJ, MC. Then there's the contracts, there's the logistics. You got to travel, you got to drive with a whole team of 9 people to another country, to Portugal, to Spain. And even before that, I actually my first production was in 2005 already. So I was so sick and tired of trials being so unknown. And it wasn't, I had great sponsors already, like Red Bull, but I didn't feel like I was giving back what they deserve. They sponsor me because, trials, they like the shows and all the extra sportive things you can do with it, like shows, workshops, but I was never valued for my athlete performances because the competitions and the format was just not right. It wasn't built to give back to sponsors. It was built to impress the other trials rider, and that was about it. And with my team, I decided back in 2005 to really put a stop to that. And I transformed the whole sport, or tried to transform the whole sport into something that's really attractive to watch, that engages with families, bringing the sport we brought it to the beach in Belgium. So we were having boulders and rocks on the beach. So we went from mountains in like a dirt road to get there with no people, just parents and riders. We went to like literally summertime, prime time location on the beach, doing trials events there, live streamed on television. And so I learned how to produce from a very early age because of trials. I always had to push and fight to get a little bit of a piece of the cake in the media and the sponsor world. And I think that helped me to understand what people like to see when they want to see it, and especially what works and moreover what doesn't work. And that's what I implement into Bike Fest. It's not just an event or a product. Bentonville Bike Fest is 100% everything that I know will work, what I know won't work, and all the people I know that I met in my career in the past from traveling and shows. I've been contacting them all just to make Bike Fest to what it is today. And yeah, this is kind of the background of the production side of things. So, and I was always doing that while I was competing. So that was the hardest part. Uh, so one side you're traveling, you're jet lagged, and the other side you still got to train. But I'm also in between sessions and training sessions. I'm in between travels and on the plane, and I was always on my computer planning. And I think, to be really honest with you, organizing a Bentonville Bike Fest is almost it's the mission is easier because people understand it and they buy into it because they understand it, and that's why a lot of people show up. The workload is something else. It's a lot. It's so massive compared to what I used to do before. Um, but selling trials and trials only was way harder than selling mountain bikes to a mountain bike audience, which is a trillion times bigger than the trial scene. So I think I just had a really rough life lesson in how to make something happen.
I love that background that you share. And Kenny, your attention to detail at the event, like all those little pieces that create a memorable wow moment. I mean, you can see everyone at the show fully engaged and just trying to like move from one thing to the next so they could take it all in. In the trials segment, seeing what you've done for trials and bringing it to that show. And as a rider, a mountain biker myself, being able to watch that trials competition unfold, it's inspirational. It is absolutely tremendous. And to see all the little kids looking at these riders with like these big eyeballs, it's pretty
Yeah,
fantastic. Um,
yeah. Yeah, trials has that effect on people, and so is BMX flatland and BMX dirt and thing. All the kids are inspired by the cool stuff, and they want to do it or watch it on YouTube, and it just works. And it's the success of Red Bull. They still use these cool sports to get out there and put their brand out there, and that's all the things that we try to do at Bike Fest as well.
So, listeners, Kenny and his team now for 5 years, this going into the fifth year, this is the fifth year anniversary of an event that brings retailers, suppliers, riders, thousands of riders to Bentonville, Arkansas to celebrate every aspect of cycling. It's absolutely tremendous. If you have not heard of Bentonville Bike Fest, we'll link in the show notes. But Kenny, give our listeners kind of an overview of what to expect. What is Bentonville Bike Fest? We've been talking about it because we know what it is, but for those who don't.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, it's celebration of the Bentonville culture and futuristic plans, I would say. So on Thursday, we can go back all the way to Sunday the week before. It's the weekend before. It's the Rule of Three, famous gravel event. And then we have all the gravel riders in town, and a lot of them stay all week because they are usually in town for Unbound, which is the week after our event. So we keep the gravel racers because they have a shakeout ride in the week. They go train, they go ride, they mingle. And then you guys start off on Tuesday with the NBDA Summit. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday. And then our festival actually starts on Thursday. We added another day before it was Friday. Now it's Thursday. And we do the e-mobility day, which I got my inspiration from going to, I live most of my time in Europe. So I see all the whole movement and what e-bikes are doing and how bike leasing is a thing now. And, we are, I think, a little bit more advanced than in America right now. And I think that inspired me to bring this to America and to really also have an event that is not just about the jumping and the cool stuff, but also about the mobility of the future on bicycles. Not, I'm not going to promote flying cars, but on bicycles, of course. And that's on Thursday. So downtown Bentonville, we never really had an event downtown. And this e-mobility day really is perfect for that. And you guys also have your e-mobility programming that day, so that's a great synergy. Your dealers will be educated about e-bikes in their stores, and I'm not going to reveal what you all have planned, and I don't know the details either. But same time, we have an outdoor expo, and a lot of brands are really interested to come. So I'm really excited about this e-mobility day, and now I can start playing again. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, having the e-bikes there. How can we make it cool? Okay, let's add some entertainment and some I've been reaching out to breakdancers, and so we all want to do these cool stuff, these cool things that attract the mainstream, because again, this is the mission of Bike Fest. If you do something with bikes, the bikers will show up, and that's great, but I also want the families to show up. I want the non-bike audience to show up and go to a Bike Fest and say, wow, we've seen something really cool, even though we're not really that much of a bike fans, and we don't have $8,000 specialized in our garage. But this was a great show, and that's what we want to do. We want to motivate people on the e-mobility day to also buy into the e-bike rebate program that's also going to be promoted at the event. And then on Friday, and this is a free event, so free general attendance, downtown Bentonville, speed trials event, entertainment, DJ, panel discussions, the whole thing. We're planning it step by step, and yeah, it's been received really well by the e-bike scene. And then on Friday at 1 p.m., actually on 10 a.m., you guys go first to our festival, because the gates will be open for your attendees of the summit, and they can go and visit all the exhibitors. And then at 1 p.m., our festival officially opens on Friday, on the 23rd of May. And this is going to be kicked off with a cross-country short track event. So before we always had cross-country eliminator, we now shifted that to cross-country short track. And that's pretty exciting. We'll have more cross-country riders participating. That's pretty cool, because NICA, they have a big following. And we go till 7 p.m. on Friday. There'll be shows, entertainment, DJ, all the vendors giving away stuff, you name it. The thing we always used to do: dirt shows, airbag jump shows, kids zone. Yes, so much happening at once. And then on Saturday, so Friday night, 7 p.m. we stop. Then People for Bikes has a drink for the industry. Then on Saturday morning, we open again at 10 a.m. We have the Kids Enduro. We have a gravel race, which is called Gravelicious. Then we have it's so much that I probably have to go to our website not to make any mistakes. We got the Enduro for Kids, presented by Belaey. We have Women's Shred Workshops by Anneke Beerten. So she's going to take women on the trails in Kohler. And not only Anneke, it's still like we're still working on a big roster of influencers and pro athletes and world class, like world champions, but we got some big names that have showed interest in coming to Bike Fest, and I can't wait to reveal those names. And that's also the power of Bike Fest. There's the opportunity as a kid, or even an adult, to sign up with your favorite rider and then go with a group of 10, 15 people only, and really in a very warm atmosphere, go on the trails and getting tips and tricks from your idol. And then Saturday night, the big after party at the Hub Bike Lounge downtown. So we're planning, they're actually doubled in size, so that's exciting. Yeah, and that's going to be a big bang party. Then on Sunday, same thing. After the party, we wake up with little eyes, usually after the party. And then at 10 a.m., festival opens again, and this is the finale day. So we got UCI trials, C1 finals, the dirt contest finals. We have a big enduro race for all the pro riders and amateurs. And also on Sunday, we have the Pedal Kids Race Series, which is a cross-country race for kids. And yeah, all this makes it that we have around 8 events during the the time frame of 3 days only, and with personally a very exciting addition of the e-mobility day, which I can't wait to keep growing year after year over year.
I mean, Kenny, this is huge. And for our listeners who haven't been to Bentonville, I mean, downtown Bentonville is just set up where there's a nice courtyard, everything is super accessible. There's trails that connect everything, restaurants. So when you're in downtown Bentonville, and as Kenny was saying, these gravel riders come in early and they stay the whole week. It's just this buildup of people on bikes, people in Lycra, people on their e-bikes, people of all shapes and sizes, of all ages. And it really becomes, I'd say, like you need to just put this on the calendar, book an Airbnb, bring your family, bring your friends, and you see people just spend the whole week. And you can go walk around the expo, you can take in the education, you can just watch world-class athletes. I saw people riding with Jeff Lenowski. Like that's a dream come true for people. So there's lots of opportunities. And I don't know, I would just say stay the week, right, Kenny? Like just like book the week and
Yeah.
take part.
Yeah. I mean, it's Memorial Weekend, so you might as well take a whole week off and then travel home on Monday on Memorial Day, and that's what a lot of people do. Yeah, it's like sometimes I get texts from people like from the city and leadership. They're like, "This is awesome! Like the town's on fire!" And like then I'm like, "Yes, we did it again." That's so cool to see.
And you do it in a way that, like, I never felt like there was long lines or a hard time parking or that a bathroom wasn't near me. Like, you put this together in a way that there is like no stress. It just feels like your volunteers are everywhere with huge smiles on their face,
Yeah,
and everyone has a common goal, and that's just to have a good time and celebrate the bicycle and get more people
yeah,
into sport. I don't know how you do that,
yeah.
Kenny. That's a huge lift, but you do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think first of all, I don't think I could pull this off in another place. And for example, the volunteers, like you mentioned, this is absolutely mind-blowing that so many people want to help and make this event succeed, and that's really, really crucial to making an event successful. And so, if any volunteers are listening, I want to say big thank you because this is important. And but I think also the reason why they show up is there's so many events in Bentonville, and volunteers get pulled from every direction, and every weekend they need volunteers. And with Bike Fest, I value their support and always try to give back as much as we can. We give them loyalty cards. They get discounts at local stores. They can get free general admission for them and a plus one. They get an amazing swag bag. There's a volunteer village presented by Bella Vista where they can get food, chill out. So we try to treat them the most respectful way we can.
I love that. Kenny, I hate to bring like a sour note on our conversation. Last year, though, we had our summit event. Things were set up for the Bike Fest. We were so excited. And a horrific tornado came through Bentonville. I have goosebumps even talking about it, experiencing that myself, being there, and then seeing the aftermath and the devastation.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to anyone that was impacted by that. And I know it did change some of your planning for the future year. And I mean, even just, I don't know I can't even fathom how you dealt with that aftermath, but the thoughts,
Yeah,
it
it was a lot.
was a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot. And, when it happened, I went into this tunnel vision mode, like, all right, we will fix this, but as you start fixing it, you you slowly start to realize, so okay, this is actually way worse than first of all, it could have been way worse if it happened during the day and people would have been on site. So I'm glad nobody was injured or at the festival field, thank God, because that would have been really bad. Now it was only tents blowing away and a few bikes were knocked over and probably scratched, but in the scope of things, people had insurance, and some of them like even claimed a loss on the third day, and they insurance covered it. And then this was just material. From a material point of view, I think it was, okay, but it definitely cut into people's, including my motivation, I think, to be like, oh man, we've put so much work in this. Like, I planned this event from Europe, so I'm always from December till May. I spend from morning till evening, like sometimes 1 a.m. in the morning, planning this thing with so much effort and passion. And then that happened. I was like, oh boy, like, and then you're like, this was bad, but now we're all back. This was right after the festival. We took a break, and then the whole team decided, no, let's go for it again. This was hopefully once in a lifetime storm. This hasn't happened in Bentonville yet, ever before. Let's stay positive. And luckily, the whole scene and the bike brands were very understanding, and I want to express my gratitude for that. And because obviously I can't do anything about it personally, but it was still our event. We invited the people to be there, so we felt responsible in a way. And but thank God we had really good feedback. People were very understanding, and the majority of bike brands are coming back. We actually have new vendors signing up, bike brands signing up, the sponsors from the Walmart space, which we are super grateful to have, also understood. They're all coming back. We actually found a few new ones. So from a commercial point of view, it was okay. From and the sponsors still okay. Now the attendees, I don't know how they're gonna react, and this is very for a control freak like me. I'm very anxious because the event is in a few months. We already sold quite a lot of tickets. Also, before it was free, now there's a small general admission fee. We see that there's a good trend. It's going up every day, and people are buying tickets. So I think we're okay, but as an event promoter, you never know. But yeah, we're counting on people's support, people's understanding, and we hope that they keep supporting and believing in Bike Fest and the vision. And we hope in a few years from now it will be a cool story to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great to see.
Yeah, that's
I don't think I've
but yeah,
I don't think I've ever experienced the outpouring of love and sense of community the morning after that storm. And then watching even the industry.
yeah, no,
And it must feel good to see, sometimes when stuff like that happens, we come back stronger, we come back bigger, we come back more invigorated. And I'm so happy to see
yeah,
even with the challenges, like the industry is, frankly, the bicycle industry is still struggling with the inventory post-COVID time that we've been in. And it's nice to see brands committing to supporting retailers and supporting riders. Kenny, you briefly mentioned this new general admission fee for tickets. I think it's like $4 for a day or $10 for the weekend. Maybe,
exactly.
yeah. Is that just part of the nature of doing business these days? Like, or is that to help you get a better sense of who's coming, or how does that help the long-term sustainability of the event? I mean, I know there's a lot of pieces to put together here.
Yeah. So we've always been going 100% on sponsorship. And so it's not just a race where you have, let's say, 2,000 racers at a premium racing, and then this is your budget to work with. We always done it different. We had sponsors paying the event, then we had a very affordable fee to race and compete at the event with a big prize purse. So the fee for racing, I spent 100% to the athletes on the production and on the prize money. So there's no money left there for me. And then there's the sponsors. They come in and they pay whatever we can sell, gold, silver, bronze, and that budget gets spent on the quality of the event, like sound, stage, PA, travel expenses of some international athletes, Airbnbs. So if I showed you the list at the end of the Excel sheet, uh, every year I'm like, wow, this can't be true. It's so much. It's so expensive. And
We're going up.
and then yeah, it adds up. And then we were giving all that goodness for free. So and it's tricky because we love our sponsors. We cannot do this without them. But the sponsor world is very something could happen in the economy, and it's just one email, and there you lose your biggest sponsor, and then there's no other option than to cancel the event. And in order to avoid that, to keep Bentonville Bike Fest sustainable, to make sure that every year we can grow, that we can always have world-class talent on board, we now charge a small, very democratic fee, like $4. If you go to an event of this size with like the dirt show only that we put up, that's like an equivalent of like a nitro circus. So if you go to an indoor nitro circus, you're gonna pay more than $4. So just to see that, if you want to see DJs and bands, there's gonna be more than $4 to see that. And we were always offering that for free. The demo bikes, they were always free. Plus, on top of that, we offered the bike brands that demo bikes an even cheaper rate than the other bike brands, because they offer our visitors value, because they have to bring extra staff, extra bikes. But at one point, I'm like, okay, this is all for free. This is not going to be sustainable on the long run. And yeah, so this was the decision. Purely, I think I'm a terrible businessman in the sense that I always give away too many things for free. Even my friends say it. And I think to protect the concept of keep surviving, I think this was just a next step in this direction, and it will allow us to grow to do even better and cooler stuff. Like my dream is to have one day a UCI Trials World Cup. It's
Wow.
my dream to have the whole event live streamed like they do at a Crankworks with Joyride and all these cool events. So this is my dream and my vision. And in order to do that, I'm gonna need the support of our fans. There's just no other way around it.
Kenny, I hope you don't mind my open question there, but I'm so glad to just hear you, give your authentic answer. I mean, it is a reality. Prices are going up, and we want to keep an event that is sustainable. And for everything that you experience at Bentonville Bike Fest for $10 for the weekend, I mean,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
still
not,
cheap.
yeah. And, for our listeners who haven't experienced, I mean, the event is world class. There's a huge stage. I mean, I did the enduro, Kenny, and it was amazing. And I saw the prizes that you were giving out. Like, you are putting the money back into the event, and it's evident because
Yeah,
everything's high
yeah.
end. Everything is really finished and polished. It's really nice.
Yes, I've been sponsored by Red Bull for 23 years, so I've seen how to put up a premium experience for people. And especially as an athlete, I just know that if you invite a pro rider, and so for me, the riders are the VIPs, and then the sponsors they're at the same level, also VIPs. In most events, the athletes that come to the event, like the influencers and the world champions and all that, they never get a VIP pass, and I never got a VIP pass. Well, not always, but sometimes I did. Depends who invited me. But in general, if you go to a festival, and if people like Andre said it, he's like, man, I'm wearing this VIP badge. I can tell that you are the rider that put this together. I'm like, yeah, this is top priority. Um, I would, I grabbed a pro by his arm. I was like, man, I didn't know you were coming. Like he's like, yeah, I just showed up to race. I'm like, okay, I like Bob, and I was like, you need to have a VIP pass. So I went on the radio, said, can you come bring a VIP pass right now to the food court? And he was like, oh, thank you, man. Never had that before. This is what make Bike Fest a little bit more special, I think. It comes from somebody who's been in the field as an athlete in a very small sport, and I try to give back, and also from the racing point of view. Like I never found it fair that you would be at $1 million production and then you were the star. People like without us athletes doing what we do, there's no show. So why wouldn't we hand out an amazing prize purse for the riders as well to compensate for that?
Kenny, I am so thankful that you do what you do. Like everyone needs to experience Bentonville Bike Fest. It is something that, for me, even someone who is part of the industry, I was a professional rider. Being in that environment, seeing the cyclists that you bring in, the riders, and just seeing all the joy of all on everyone's faces, it's something that everyone needs to experience. It made me fall back in love with the bicycle, and just the thrill
Yeah.
of going on. And I love that your attention to bringing retailers and our organization to the event. You reached out, we formed this partnership. It was important to you to have bicycle retailers, the industry coming together around Bentonville Bike Fest. Just a little bit why it was important to you, if you would.
I mean, you can't name yourself, first of all, a bike fest without having bike brands being there. And I always want to look at the next step. So first you have your exhibitors and the bike brands, but then the question I ask myself, what's next? We want them to do business here. We want them to sell their merch to the end consumer, which happens, and then they're happy. But how can we also go beyond that? And I'm glad we met because you offer that platform. You offer the workshops for the bike shops, and then because of the bike shops that are there, the bike shop owners, then the industry knows that now, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is great. We can connect with our dealers from other places in the country in Bentonville during Bentonville Bike Fest." So this is the whole synergy that I try to create with the bike industry. And we do kind of the same thing with the Walmart brands as well. So a lot of the Walmart brands sponsor Bike Fest and then invite their customers, clients, relationships, VIPs to Bike Fest to see, look, this is what we do at Bike Fest. So we got the two worlds meeting. And what I like to see, what's already has happened is some of the big Walmart brands now meet a pro rider and they get sponsored the next year. And this is so awesome because the bike scene doesn't have many brands involved other than bicycle brands. And I think that needs to change. And this is also what Bike Fest is for.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, having had this relationship for multiple years, we have, as an organization, connected with so many brands just through your organization that are coming to your event. They've come to our summit, 2 days before the event, and they've connected with hundreds of retailers and they've formed relationships. So we are truly offering an opportunity where retailers and brands can come together and retailers can see brands then interacting with the consumer at the festival. Also, with the addition of the early hours for retailers to go into the festival on Friday before it opens and actually engage with the brands, do some business if you would, look at products. That was a game changer. The positive feedback, we were able to do that this past year before the tornado. And that really, it set the stage for what was going to be, a fabulous opportunity. So thank you for adding in that special time for retailers
Of course.
to do business.
No, again, your programming, your mission, your vision is totally in line with what I always hoped and hope to have. And yeah, you guys produce it, you bring the people and we bring the people, and it's just great. It's a great partnership.
So e-mobility this day, we're really excited about it. E-mobility this year, we're really excited about it. We're happy to see that you're partnering with us to bring that to downtown Bentonville. So you'll be bringing in the brands, the test bikes, the consumers. We'll have the retailers, the brands inside on stage talking about safety, talking about service, talking about sales. And then there'll be opportunity throughout the day where our retailers can come outside and engage with the bikes at your expo. And we're just going to be celebrating everything e-mobility. It's a growing segment, and I can't thank you enough for coming again aligned to make that partnership happen.
Yeah, no. So a little story. I was just because you say it's a growing segment. I was at Eurobike in Germany last summer, and I was just sitting there having my lunch on the side of the test track. They had like a massive test track, and I couldn't wrap my head around the amount of e-bikes, cargo bikes with baskets in the front and the rear, the kits on it, covered against the rain. Like it was unbelievable with solar panels on the roof. Like it was unbelievable how many different types of bikes there are. And that's the moment where I decided I want an e-mobility day. So very excited about this event. And I'm glad that you also believed in the vision. I actually wanted to add a third day as well. And I think I'm actually sure that in the future, this is going to keep growing. Even the booth spaces at the Eurobike were sometimes 3, 4 times bigger than the A-list bike brands that traditional bike brands that we know of today, from brands that we don't even never heard of. And this is what we want to achieve with this e-mobility day. We want actually now entire Arkansas, technically, and people from other states to come there that during that day and see bikes that they haven't seen before, and learn things that they didn't know before.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we're excited about, and we're feeling everyone just so excited about that extra day. Um, Lots of work goes into the festival, lots of things. I mean, I know you and your team are just nonstop. Anything I forgot to ask you that you might want to share about this year's event or any call to action?
No, I think I still talking about my team. I want to thank my team. I could not do this by myself. It's just impossible. I have amazing people that I'm working with. Some, like full time, part time, small role, big role, volunteers, sponsors. Could not do it without them. I'm glad they all believe in the vision, and they all literally bend backwards to make this event, uh, better year over year. And I want to thank everybody who's involved. And I can't wait to see everybody at Bike Fest, May 22nd, 10 a.m. at Compton Gardens, downtown Bentonville.
It's going to be great. All right, granular things, Kenny. If people listening, they want to get tickets, they want to experience the festival and purchase the pass, where
Yes.
do they do that?
So there's two passes. So don't be confused. There's two passes to purchase. If you want to race, so let's say you want to do a clinic, or you want to race the enduro or the cross country, or you want to sign your kid up for the Pelicans race or another clinic or workshop, go to Bike Reg. The link is on our website, bentonvillebikefest.com. Then you go to Bike Reg and you purchase your ticket to race or ride. This includes your free general admission. So then you don't have to, for yourself as an athlete, you don't have to still go to Eventbrite and purchase your general admission. It's already included. If you sign your kid up who's under 16, then we will reach out to you and say, okay, you as a parent, or as a 15, 16-year-old who purchased their ticket, they also be getting a free general admission. We will email them a code so they can still get the free general admission.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Yeah. If you don't want to race or ride, but you want to see all the cool stuff, the latest technology, you want to demo bikes, you want to hang out at the food garden and beer garden, sorry, and the food court. I always mess those two things up. If you want to do that, just come to a festival. Like, we all know how a festival should be. Like, then you just go to Eventbrite on our website. It says Festival Pass. I'm looking at it right now. That's why I pointed my head there. It says Festival Pass. And you click on it, brings you to Eventbrite, and you purchase your ticket, $4 a day or $10 for the weekend. Or if you want a better experience, we now offer also VIP packages, so you can actually go inside a tent and have food, like, the grill kind of stuff, and a little bit better experience for $65. Hang out with the pro riders, with some of our sponsors. That's all. That's all the things we offer.
Awesome. So yeah, listeners,
And
Bike Fest, we'll link it in the show notes. Sorry, Kenny, I didn't mean to cut you off.
now, if early bird finishes at the 15th of March, then tickets go up from $4 to $6 a day, and from $10 to $14 a day.
And I'll just put a little vouch out for the VIP experience, going into that lounge, the nicer bathrooms, hanging out with the riders. That's pretty cool. So if you're on the edge there, definitely consider that VIP experience. Kenny, what if we have suppliers or brands listening and they want to expo, they want to bring their bikes to demo, they want to get involved? Can they still sign up? Is there still time?
Oh yes, we still have, like, now is like when it's starting to pick up, we can see an increase in people signing up, brands signing up. So just go to the website or email Jessie at bentonvillebikefest.com, and she will send you all the information that you need in order to sign up. There's still a few sponsor packages available as well, some workshops. The bigger ones are all sold, except if you want to become a gold or silver sponsor. We will never say no to that.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're listening and you're a retailer, there's still spaces at the summit. And if you're a brand that would like to come to the summit as well, reach out to me as well because there's still spaces. Kenny, I absolutely love working with you and your team. It's a top-notch event. It's something that is definitely memorable. We're bringing the industry to Bentonville, celebrating all things on bikes, and it's becoming now like a week-long thing. Like, mark your calendars, get to Bentonville, bring your family. Lots of Airbnbs. It's a fabulous place to just spend that time. Kenny, thank you for everything you do.
No, thank you. Don't need to thank me. I'm just having fun doing this and putting it together. It's what I do. It's what I live for. I like to create, and I'm glad I can do it in a place where it's appreciated and where it's actually a lot of fun to, use Bentonville as a lab almost to do cool stuff. So thank you for everybody for the support.
One more, Kenny, if people want to contact you, do you have a contact you'd share if they want to give you kudos or maybe give you an idea or ask a question? Is there
Yeah.
you would share for yourself?
Yeah, my athlete page, Belaey Kenny, on Instagram. I still post stuff from that's my other life that I still
You're still
lead is
racing.
the athlete. No, I'm still doing a lot of shows all over the world. We just had one for the Brussels Car Show. We did like 33 shows in 10 days. Yeah, it was pretty hectic. And there's a project coming up in Qatar for Red Bull, one in Bahrain. I got some NBA halftime shows still. So if you're interested in that stuff, follow my athlete page on Instagram.
Kenny, trials is no joke, and you are still competing at a pretty high level and showcasing at a pretty high level. It takes a lot of physical, yeah. So between that,
Yeah,
organizing
yeah,
this awesome trade show and awesome consumer experience is pretty amazing.
yeah, yeah. It's every minute of the day is something is happening. It's
Something.
every day.
Kenny, thank you for coming on the podcast again. Can't wait to see you in Bentonville. Thanks for everything you do.
Same. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning into Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, please like, subscribe, or leave us a review. Sharing this podcast with your friends helps us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content. Remember, we host 2 shows per week with ever-changing guests and fresh content to keep you both informed and inspired. The National Bicycle Dealer Association is committed to providing valuable events, webinars, and opportunities for industry education and connection. Stay up to date by visiting nbda.com to see our event calendar. Special thanks to Francis Abbott for the promotional graphics for today's episode. If you're interested in advertising on Bicycle Retail Radio or have a guest suggestion, visit nbda.com to learn more. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Bicycle Retail Radio.